Just real quick about who IHCDA is and our mission, if you want to go to the next slide there. We provide housing opportunities, promote self-sufficiency, and strengthen our communities. Those are the three pillars that we focus on. IHCDA is a quasi-agency. Everything from homelessness to home ownership is somewhere within this agency. And we also have in community development, we promote placemaking. So that's the next one. One thing I want to share with you, because you've had a lot of information today. There's obviously a lot of data, housing data, and all of you know that there's needs across our state for more affordable housing, more just market rate housing, preserving our existing affordable housing. All of that's out there. And we know that there's challenges. About a year and a half ago, IHCDA launched what's called the Indiana Housing Dashboard, and it centralized a lot of our housing data for you to have. And it's broken down into population, housing stocks, housing affordability, and jobs. If you want to go to the next slide real quick. You can go to indianahousingdashboard.com and you can start to look at some of this data at the state level, and you can look at it at the county level, and you can compare your counties. And while this is nice, there were still some areas where we knew we needed to make some improvements. So by June of this year, there's going to be a much more robust version, 2.0 version of this. And it's actually going to provide you with some additional housing data. It's also going to break it down into the census tract data. It's going to allow you to compare one community in the state versus another community. It's going to walk you through the process of how to engage your community in developing a housing strategic plan. It's going to do that for you. It's going to walk you through that. It's going to allow you the opportunity to use this data to set your local housing priorities that you would like to take on, and that you could measure and follow over the next year or 2 or 3 years to see how you are influencing this housing data. In addition to that, there will be a library of resources that you can look to explore to undertake your developments and how you want to take on, whether it be home ownership or preserving your existing housing stock or creating new rental housing. All those resources are going to be there for you. You can, right now, currently, if you click on Export Full Report, you can generate a housing needs assessment for your county or the state of Indiana within a matter of just a few seconds. And it doesn't cost you a dime. Now, if you were to do this and hire a consultant, it's going to cost you probably about $20,000. But in Indiana, you can do it for free, and you can do it in a few seconds. So if you go to the next slide, these are just some of the takeaways that I had when I was looking at the state's housing needs assessment. 45% of our population is over 65, and they're living with a disability. Okay? 73% of our homes are single family. 45% of our homes were built before 1970. We have an aging housing stock across our state. The median listing price has increased by 15% since 2010. Now that data right there, that data point, doesn't include the pandemic. So we all know that the housing costs have increased. I can tell you it's more than 15% because we didn't have the current data to give you that. Home ownership demographics. When we talked about the population, 69% home ownership rate across our state. We're pretty proud of that. But when you drill a little bit deeper, we all know there is disparities among Black households, which is at 37%. And we know that we have 74% among non-Hispanic whites. So there's a huge disparity there. We know we can do better in this area. And we have 54% Hispanic and Latino households are homeowners. Our median rent, this doesn't include the pandemic percentage. This is 21% since 2010. So we know that rents have gone up. We've heard that quite a bit today. But that was prior to the pandemic. Cost burden. 40% of households are housing cost burden, and 61% of households are cost burden below 50, making annual of $50,000. We have a rental gap of about 400,000 people across our state. And that's focused on those who make less than $50,000 annually, or renting below $1,200 a month. So you can take pictures, but actually I encourage you to go to indianahousingdashboard.com, pull your own report, for the state, for your county, and then go back in June, before June. And what's going to be nice is you're going to be empowered to develop housing strategies for your organization, for your community, and to also be empowered to make change happen. So that's what the Indiana Housing Dashboard is all about. So, well, let's go on to the next slide here. Let's jump in. I'm going to take you on site visits. Let's go around the state. I was asked to help you understand the opportunities to link housing into other areas of our communities. Every community in our state has some type of challenge, not just housing, but something else. Transportation, healthcare, education, career development, small business, supporting entrepreneurs. All of those things, every one of our communities has some type of challenge. I'm going to show you how when we develop housing across our state, we need to be thinking about how we connect those other community challenges to housing. Housing can't solve the problems, all of our problems, but it certainly can influence and have a positive impact on quality of life and quality of place across our state. But we have to be intentional about how we connect our housing to our infrastructure, to all these other areas. And it's not rocket science, but it is something that we need to think about when we develop housing, especially affordable housing. So one example here, this is in Petersburg, and I can't remember it's called can you move that a little bit so I can see the title? There we go. Downtown Terrace. I should know the title of every one of these, but every one of mine is going to have the same thing. So is there a way you can move that around a little bit? Yeah. Okay. This was in downtown Petersburg. It's right off the courthouse square. It's about 2 blocks from the courthouse square. This is what it was. You can see the building here. It was dilapidated. Actually, half of it had fallen down. They had to close the street, the sidewalks. They preserved part of the building, which is right here. This is actually part of the original structure. And then this other part is new construction that you can see here. Senior housing, they connect it to healthcare. In this county, there's no hospital, okay? No hospital in the county. So how do we connect housing and healthcare? So they put a family medical clinic on the ground floor. There's also a dentist office there as well. This is senior housing. So very nice. I mean, you could walkability, serving an unmet need of the community when it comes to healthcare. So one example of how we can connect housing to healthcare. Across our state, we have a lot of great downtowns. We have a lot of courthouse squares, but a lot of them have seen underinvestment across our state. In Indiana, a lot of the investment that you see in the downtown courthouse squares was initially, especially the last 15 years, has been from the tax credit program and affordable housing. And here's just 4 examples. This is Brookville. We have a senior housing here in the front, existing structure, but look in the back. That's all new construction there. And then right here is a pharmacy, a restaurant. So we combined not just housing, but also small businesses that can support the residents. There's also part of an assisted living that's affordable with that as well. This is Delphi right here. And in Delphi, there's it's a historic building on the courthouse square. It also includes the Delphi Opera House. To make this work, they actually had to also do new construction about 6 blocks away. So there's new construction and preservation here as well. This is a historic structure. This development here is in Greensburg. And those were several historic buildings on the downtown square that were converted into affordable housing as well. And then this building here, you can see, if you ever had to go south during the construction of I-69 through Martinsville, you would have seen this building. It's right there. That's where you had to go when they closed 37. This is at the corner. And so this building here was also preserved and converted into affordable housing. I think this was the first time that in Martinsville's Courthouse Square, they had over $12 million of investment. I would argue, this is probably the first time any of these courthouse squares had any type of investment over $1 million. These are $12, $13, $14 million of investments taking place. So our courthouse squares are important, our downtowns are important, and we need to ensure that we have opportunities for our residents to support small businesses, to have access to healthcare, to our public services like our libraries, our post offices, and also to support small businesses who can be right in the center of their community. So next slide. I like this one, Mount Vernon. I don't know if you know where Mount Vernon is. Mount Vernon's almost in Arkansas, I think. It's in the farthest southwest corner of our state, along the Ohio River. Right there's the Ohio River. What you see here is a comprehensive community development. This was a plan that was put in place. There was actually some old corn silos here on this site prior to this. It's an eyesore. And now what you have, affordable housing, mixed use, Bliss ice cream, if you're familiar with Bliss ice cream, they have a Bliss ice cream there. An amphitheater right across the street that was put in with a park. Here you can see the amphitheater, you can see the park here, parts of it. Great fireworks show on 4th of July weekend. On top of the affordable housing, there's a rooftop, so you can set up there if you're a resident. This right here, you see that little circle? That's a trailhead. So that's where the trail starts for the community. So this is placemaking. This is how we activate underutilized spaces in our communities that was spearheaded with affordable housing. So we use tax credits, home development fund. I'm not going to get into those sources of funds. I think you just went through quite a bit of that. But it gives you an idea of how we can think about using our housing to activate underutilized space that attracts people to our communities. And we want to attract them, but we also want to retain them. If we have housing that's affordable, we can retain folks. This is a really simple development. It was only 6 single-family homes that are rentals for seniors. It's in Tipton, and it actually was built out. It's in a subdivision. It's right next to the high school. And it's all accessible. This picture is kind of bent a little bit, but these are accessible bathrooms. But they're rental and they're single family for folks that were over 55. Right in Tipton. But what was unique about it, it's in a very upscale neighborhood. Part of the neighborhood, and I wish I could have had a picture of it, are some really, really nice brick homes. But the subdivision wasn't able to finish building out the lots from the recession, the last recession that went through in 2008. There was still a cul-de-sac that was never developed. And some of the lots were kind of small, kind of narrow, as you can see here. They kind of adjusted this. And so they went in and then they redeveloped and put these homes here, which is really nice. I think it was, again, another way of using some underutilized space that had sat vacant for more than 10 years. This one here, there's actually 2 developments here. These are in Anderson. And I'm going to kind of walk you through. This is really close to the, actually right here, if you're standing here and you looked right here, you would see the Wigwam. Wigwam is one of our state's oldest and largest former high school basketball gyms, with Anderson High School. But it's right on the Wigwam. It's right there on the same site. It was all redevelopment. So this right here was new construction, assisted living, which provided healthcare services for folks who can't live quite independently, but can live independent enough to have, but they just need some day-to-day services. So this is an assisted living development here. And then right here is this development. And this development here is permanent supportive housing. This is housing for individuals that are chronically homeless, have been chronically homeless, and need supportive services to continue to live without having housing insecurity. But we need to provide them with supportive services, mental health services for them, and it's all done on site right there. So you have actually 2 very different developments, both new construction, both part of a revitalization effort, some existing land that hasn't been used for several years as the high school moved out. So you can see actually part of it Part of this was actually just a big gray parking lot. You can see parts of the parking lot here. So these two developments really embrace the spirit of entrepreneurship, small business. So this development here is in Angola with small businesses, and literally right across the parking lot is the enterprise center for Angola that supports small businesses, a small business incubator for them. And that's part of, and this is here where it's a live-work environment, live-work development. This is in Michigan City, artist housing. If you can look right here, you can see on the ground floor, there's the artwork and gallery. Artists live on the other floors, 2, 3, 4, 4th floor. So another example of live work that we have. An existing structure, new construction, right downtown Michigan City. This development is located in Fort Wayne called Randall Lofts. It's a historic building in the historic district right in downtown Fort Wayne. Affordable housing, preserved, set vacant for several years. We brought it with our financing, we were able to bring it back to life. The thing has a really nice restaurant and a spa right there on the ground floor as well. So, I mean, it really activated the downtown of Fort Wayne. It was one of the pillars of actually what you see now, downtown Fort Wayne, with a lot of vibrant, different types of restaurants. This was the first one that went in probably about 8 years ago now. So it really spearheaded and sparked additional private investment into the historic downtown area of Fort Wayne. This looks like a college dorm. It is. And it is on a college campus. It's on St. Mary's of the Woods. If you know where St. Mary of the Woods is, near Terre Haute. This was actually a former dorm. Now it was converted into senior housing, right in the middle of the campus. It's great when you go to this development. There are students walking by all over the place, but it's right there. It's right there on the campus, and it's really just a beautiful development for folks who would continue to live independently. So it's great. They preserved an existing structure. It's a main structure on the St. Mary's of the Woods campus. They preserved it. It could have been demolished, but they chose to recognize the history of the culture that they have on the campus and to preserve it by embracing affordable housing, specifically those targeting those who are 55 and older. So this is one of the oldest structures in our state. It was built prior to the Civil War. This is called the Cotton Mill in Cannelton. It's right on the Ohio River. It was a former cotton mill, and it was converted into housing that's affordable. And if you, literally, it is right on the Ohio River. Are any of you aware of Indiana folklore with this building? Well, according to folklore, I don't know where it's at, but somewhere on this building, there's an indention of one of the cannonballs that came across the Ohio River from the Confederate Army in one of the battles. They targeted this building. So, again, Indiana history. This is our culture. This is who we are, and we preserved it. And it's important that we do that. Yes, we could develop housing across our state that's more cost-effective in a cornfield, but I would rather invest into something like this that preserves our history and our culture of who we are as a state, but also providing affordable housing and investment into our downtowns. This is right downtown Cannelton too as well. So a beautiful building. I think it speaks for itself. So, okay. Next. So just real quick, I'm just going to just touch on some of the homeownership financing tools we have. You saw them on the slides. IUTA does have homeownership products, whether it be for a home buyer. We provide down payment assistance up to 6%. We do offer home grants to not-for-profits who would like to develop single-family homes. On the multifamily side, we have an array of different types of financing tools, from housing credits, to state credits, to multifamily bonds, home investment partnership program, the Indiana Housing Community Development Fund, and National Housing Trust Fund. We have an array of different types of financing tools that are available to organizations that use these tools to go through the developments I just shared with you. And there's a lot more like that across our state. So, okay. I did say I'm serious. Every Friday at 1 o'clock, you can sign up when they give you this. You can sign up to get my Friday notes that I send out. And every Friday, I take you on a site visit. No joke, it's serious. And actually this week, where were we? I'll give you a hint, because I don't tell you where we go. I tell you that next week. This week, we're in Evansville at a new development in Evansville. So we have a magazine that we issue every quarter. And then there's our 2022 annual report. So if you'd like to sign up for any of these and get any of this information, click right there. I'm assuming they'll give you a copy of this. I encourage you to sign up if you haven't signed up. So with that, this is my contact information. If you have any questions, I'm always available. So thank you.